Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News
Episode 99
on Now You Know. All right, don't forget that at the end of the episode, Jesse, we're going to be doing a Patreon giveaway.
Yes, we have our big golden spinny thing.
Support for this episode of Tesla Time News comes from Wonder Capital. This is how I invest in solar energy. We'll tell you more about it later in the episode. All right, this is exciting for me. I love talking about the Model 3. You know that, Jesse. Well, this is a Model 3 running AP2, and check out this video. It's avoiding a collision right before your eyes.
Right.
This footage from Tesla Exposed shows how a silver SUV in the left lane started to move over, almost hitting the Model 3. And don't forget, this Model 3 had kids in it. So the AP warned the driver that the crash was imminent. Here's what the driver said. Close call while cruising on highway along with traffic while Autopilot engaged, when a driver who was speeding and cutting everyone off almost sideswiped us with kids inside. Autopilot was engaged and started to brake and moved slightly to the right within the lane before I took over and powered out. Instant torque.
Autopilot basically saved this guy from a huge accident with his kids in the car.
Yeah, I mean, because you know that when cars are moving at those speeds and someone cuts you off, this could have turned into a multi-car, like, fatal collision.
Right. I mean, yeah, when you're going that fast, even though the initial collision might not be much, you know, it's going to push you off to the side of the road, and, you know, all bets are off as to who else is going to pile in.
Yeah, so, I mean... And this happens to all of us, right? You can't notice what's going on to your left and right tight on in your blind spots. Here, the Model 3 is looking out for you.
Right.
Notice what was going on, moved over before the driver could even have reacted,
right,
and alerted him immediately,
right,
saving the day.
Right. This is super important, and this doesn't get enough coverage. You know, everyone wants to talk about Model 3 got in an accident or this and that. Tesla explodes on fire. But again, the story is almost never that Model 3 prevents an accident. You know, it prevented the accident to itself and to the other terrible driver.
Right. Damn.
We can't swear on the show. We have to.
Oh, I'm not swearing. DAM. It's the Hoover Dam I'm talking about.
Okay, sure. What's up with that?
Well, so you know the Hoover Dam. It's this giant dam, dams up the Colorado River.
Right, and it has a power plant. You make electricity.
Right. Well, there's this...
green. I like that.
Right.
Yeah,
there's this plan. Mayor Garcetti from Los Angeles would like to turn the dam into a battery.
So, like pumped hydro using the Hoover Dam?
Yeah. Basically, the plan is that if you put a pump station about 20 miles down from the dam, that you could just keep pumping water that goes out of the dam back up into the dam, and you would be able to store power from, say, solar electricity. It's a $3 billion plan, and if it were to be started today, it would take till about 2028, or about 10 years to finish. Lots of environmental groups don't like this idea because...
But it's green. It's pumped, it's pumped hydro. It's...
Yeah, but you're affecting the course of a river, and you're pouring water down a river, then pumping it back up a river. It has environmental impacts, and so environmental groups are not so sure they like this idea.
Okay.
So I'd like to just point out, if you got $3 billion to spend...
That's a lot of money.
You could get 4.2 gigawatts of battery storage.
Oh, that's a lot. That's a lot.
And that's at today's prices, not considering that as the price of batteries drops, which it does every year, this is going to get cheaper and cheaper.
So what you're saying is make a giant Tesla battery, like the one in Australia that cost $70 million.
Right. I mean, in fact, you don't have to put it all in one place. You can spread them around so that they're all over the place.
Okay, so that basically is how the grid likes to measure batteries in gigawatts. Or usually they do megawatts because they're much smaller than this gigantic one, which means that it'll be able to provide power for a reasonable amount of time at 4.2 gigawatts.
Right.
Which is a lot. It's almost enough to go back in time. Not entirely quite, but I mean...
But here's the thing. Instead of having to wait 10 years and go through all these environmental impact studies, it's something you can do right now. Right. Tesla showed that they could build that battery in Australia...
in 100 days, or it were free.
Right. So, I mean, just call up Tesla and tell them you'd be interested in doing that. You'll have your battery much sooner.
Right. And with no, diverting rivers and digging pipes and, having it take 10 years. I mean, that's the crazy part. 10 years.
Right.
I mean, your needs are going to be completely different in 10 years.
So check out this video, Jesse. These are near-Earth objects that were detected. These near-Earth objects are asteroids and comets. Their orbits will come within 121 million miles or 195 million kilometers of the sun, and are also within roughly 30 million miles of Earth's orbit around our star.
Okay, so how many are we talking here? Like 12, 17, 21.
Well, so watch this video here. So in 1999, this is how many objects they had found. And
400.
Well, but wait, and then keep watching the video, because as each year goes by, we find more and more objects.
7,000. 7,000?
No, it's a little worse than that. Some 18,000 NEOs have been detected. That's roughly a rate of 40 a week.
So they're not like slowing down. It's not like we found most of them.
No.
And they're like, oh, I just saw a new one. Oh, cool, Bob. Look at that. Huh, good job.
No, right. We're finding 40 more to add to the list a week. So it's pretty crowded. And I just want to give you this sense of, look at that for a second and think about, is one of those going to hit us?
Right.
I mean, because they do hit us from time to time. It's been proven.
Right. And it's usually not great for the living organisms on the planet. There's usually an extinction event.
Right. The NEO observation program still has to fulfill the ambitious goal set by Congress of finding 90% of NEOs, which are 460 feet and larger, by the end of 2020.
Okay. And they're not anywhere close.
No, because the rate that we're finding them shows that we're nowhere near 90%. And so that was just the first step, right, to find out how many are around. I think maybe you can even stop counting if you want to, because we've shown there's a lot of them.
Right.
And so you either, I think there's only two things to do now.
Okay.
Either find a way to destroy ones that might hit us, or get off the planet.
Well, I mean, you're going to need to track them all, basically, in order to prevent that from happening. Because you can't send up some kind of special
Bruce Willis
mover, grabber, blower upper machine unless you know where it is and you know when it's coming. It's not like you're going to have time if like, you know, some radar detector is like, oh, danger, sir, there's an asteroid coming in, what are we going to do? Like, they wouldn't be able to be like, fire the special thing that we got. Like, they don't have that. Right? There's not a rocket just waiting, you know, fueled up, ready to go to stop an asteroid that's going to hit the Earth. We have no thing. We'd have to be like, well, let's start thinking about building that and funding that.
But here's the thing. There is a guy who's thinking about a solution, and that is Elon. And he's thinking about getting us to Mars. Right. It's a good backup plan.
Because the backup plan is, instead of buying a bunch more telescopes to give to the scientists to be like, okay, fine, here you go, find some more dangerous objects. If you go to Mars, then you've essentially doubled the chances of humanity's existence in the solar system.
Right. And then once you get to Mars, there's a good chance you can get to other places.
Right. You know, put a base on the moon, go to Europa. Yeah. Lots of fun places you can go in at least our solar system. And then, you know, you can start thinking about, you know, Alpha Centauri and other places like that. Yeah. If tomorrow an asteroid were to hit the Earth, you know, let's say not all of mankind was wiped out, but it significantly changed our climate and it made our whole lives difficult and, you know, we couldn't do anything. It would be bad.
Yeah.
And if we could have somewhere to at least preserve humanity, I think that most people would view that as a good thing. So,
well, that was kind of dark. Let's go a little light here.
Okay.
Waymo, Walmart.
You're just saying names right now.
No, I'm giving commands to my Waymo. I'm telling Waymo where I want to go. See, Waymo
is it voice activated? I really don't want that.
You don't?
No.
Oh, I think that'd be kind of cool. But anyway, Waymo is partnering with Walmart, and early riders in Phoenix will be able to take a Waymo to Walmart to do their shopping and get driven home and get a discount. So you see where this is going? This story isn't as much about...
It's going to Walmart, right?
It is, but it's not so much about technology here. This is about a very smart thing that Waymo's doing with marketing. So think about this. They are incentivizing adoption of Waymo by partnering with companies like Walmart, Element Hotels, Avis, AutoNation, and DDR Corp, which is they own shopping centers and
Dance
restaurants.
Revolution, yeah.
No, they own shopping centers and restaurants.
Okay.
So, I mean, think about if you get this incentive, like what if you got, 20% off your next meal by taking a Waymo, that would be a great experience, right? You'd be like, wow, I got to drive there hands-free, car took care of it, and I got a discount.
Right. And so I'm going to tell my friends next time we're at the barbecue, I'm going to be like, yeah, and so then I didn't even have to touch the steering wheel, and there was no guy in there. It was really great. And then everyone's going to be like, really? There was no guy in this minivan that drove you to Walmart?
Right.
Yeah, I know, and that's where I got these steaks or whatever you got. Hopefully you didn't get steaks. But anyway, so that is their plan.
Yeah, it's really smart marketing.
Really smart.
Remember a few weeks ago we told you that there was this new electric vehicle called the Tesla Model 3, and
remember that one,
It
yeah.
hit number 100 on the best-selling cars in the USA
Yep.
for so far in 2018
Yep.
in May. Well, that was a month ago. This month, the new data that just came in puts the Tesla Model 3 at number 95 on the top 100 list.
Nice.
They just
but I
beat-
mean, 95 out of 100, boring. So, I mean, like, what do they beat out? Like some Oldsmobile kind of car you don't see that often?
you see these pretty often. They just beat out the BMW 3 Series, the Nissan Maxima, and the Mercedes E-Class.
And that's only June.
That's only June. So
And they still have 6 months to go. So, like all the car manufacturers started at zero, and then they're working their way up through the year, and then Tesla was just like, bam! Hoo-ha! They were just like, whoo! Like out of nowhere, because they started at a different point. And so, like, their trajectory is far more upwards.
exactly. They sold a total of 24,367 as of June of this year. But it sold 6,000 in June, which means that it outsold 25 other models. And we're just getting started, folks.
Right.
Oh,
So-
and by the way, Mercedes lost 9% earnings in their luxury brand division, 12% revenue in its bus division, and overall earnings dropped 21%. So
21%.
Yeah,
that is not 2%.
No.
That is not 0.21%. That's
Nope.
21%
Right.
overall earnings.
And they put out a press release saying that they blame this on the Chinese retaliatory tariffs that basically against the U.S.-made vehicles, because they make some of their vehicles in Alabama. I would like to conjecture maybe it's because their E-Class was just beaten by the Tesla Model 3 and their bus division was just beaten by BYD, which makes electric buses.
Right. I mean, these two companies, Tesla and BYD, 21% drop in earnings. They could put them right out of business.
There's going to be a lot of companies going out of business.
Right. There's no competition here. I mean, there's just none.
Right.
There's not like,
It's-
but our EV is pretty good. It's like,
Right.
no, like
No.
your B class that you used to have, keyword used to have, is gone.
Right.
And was not like amazing.
No.
Its range was okay, and then you put a range extender in it. But like,
No, this is a disruption.
Yeah.
And this is what it looks like. So speaking of the Model 3, the delivery window has changed a little bit. A few weeks ago, Tesla was saying that it would be 1 to 3 months if you ordered your car. Now they've changed those numbers to 2 to 4 months.
oh no. Oh my God. It means that they're not making any Model 3s at all. Oh no.
That's one way to look at it.
That's okay.
There's another way you could look at it, which is that demand has gone up.
Oh, so what you're saying is it's not that Tesla has burned all of its factories down and slain all of its workers.
No.
It is that so many people were like, I can get a Model 3 right now.
Right.
I can cut that whole line
Exactly.
of like 400,000 people.
Exactly.
I can cut that whole line.
That's what happened.
I want that car.
Right.
I saw my buddy Dave driving that car, and it was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I'm going to put money down for the premium long-range version.
That's what happened. Take a look at this Tesloop Data. So Tesloop is this company in that does Tesla taxis between LA and Nevada and other places.
Right.
And so
Long-range taxis.
Long-range taxis. So they just broke kind of a record here. So we're looking at the repair data that they released for EHawk, which is the first Tesla they got in their fleet, and it's gone over 400,000 miles. Now,
Let me just a second.
Let that sink in.
There 400,000 miles. There are some cars that can go 300,000 miles, like a Toyota Camry. Right? They always tout it can go so far, and so many drivers, and like mine's gone 300,000 miles, and people go like, "Oh, whoa."
Oh yeah,
That's
no,
insane.
I mean this car is 95% aluminum. The motors are rated at 1 million miles.
Right.
It's a beast. So, but take a look at this. They released all their repair data, and I picked out something pretty interesting here. It went 225,351 miles before needing its first brake work.
That's longer than the life of most cars.
And I'm talking pads and rotors. They didn't even need to touch a pad for 225,000 miles.
That is longer than the life of most internal combustion engine cars.
Right.
Like if you go out and you spend $100 on a car,
right,
you're going to get a car with roughly that number of miles on it. Right. Because that's when everything breaks on it. And the brakes hadn't even worn.
So I did a little math, because this is something most people don't think about, right? If you compared an ICE car and an EV in terms of what you're going to spend on its brakes, and let's say you drove them both 362,000 miles, this is what it works out to be. The ICE car would need 3 rotor jobs and 10 brake pad replacements, costing $4,800. This Tesla cost $1,759. That's a savings of over $3,000 just for the brakes.
I mean, it's huge. This is what we're talking about.
Right.
400,000 miles. Imagine having a car that you take with you 400,000 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, that is freaking reliable.
And it's still going.
Right.
Right.
It's not like, and then we gave it a funeral and we sent it across the ocean. We fired the flaming arrow and lit it up, no, it's still going.
Yeah.
It's still going.
Yeah.
That's insane. I mean, when people talk to me and they're like, "Oh, you need a battery replacement," and no, you don't. If it's a Tesla, they know what they're doing with their batteries.
Exactly. Remember last week we talked about Yoshihiro Sawa. He's the executive that works for Lexus, and he talked about the fact that he doesn't want to switch to EVs because there may be a time when you need a Land Cruiser to get to some remote part of the world.
Right. And some people are like, "Oh, and a Model X can't handle rugged terrain,"
which it can. But let's say you need a Land Cruiser. Right. And let's say you'd like it to be electric. Well, check this out. This is the Voltra eCruiser.
No. That is a Toyota Land Cruiser, from a while ago.
It is a Toyota Land Cruiser, but it's got electric guts. Take a look at it. They pulled out the ICE guts and they put in a 66 kilowatt motor. It has peak torque of 256 Newton meters. Gets level 2 charging and has a 42 kilowatt hour battery.
Okay, so we're talking like 100 miles of range, but that isn't not going to work for, people out in the outback or, need to get to remote locations.
Well, let me remind you, if you need to get to a remote location, there's going to be no gas station there, so you would have to bring your own gas.
So you'd like jerry cans of gas in the back of the car.
So if you were going to this remote location in this, maybe you'd either put in a bigger battery to start with, because there is plenty of room for it, or you'd bring along some solar panels, or there's pretty much electricity pretty much everywhere on the planet that humans go,
right,
that you can plug into. So wherever you can plug, your smartphone into the wall, you can plug this in.
And I mean, worst case, you just have a generator on the roof, and you have the jerry cans again.
I know. I'm just saying it's exciting. There's all these companies coming out with very specific EV models that fit, all these edge cases.
Right. And so for the Voltra, this is specifically designed to work in mining operations.
Exactly.
Where you're underground.
What an advantage.
And to have a diesel truck running underground, you need to get those fumes out of there because it is poison.
Right.
Which means that you need to have ventilation systems and stuff that's just constantly sucking the air out of there because, otherwise you're just breathing in diesel fumes and you're going to die.
Yeah.
So having it be electric underground is great. And this thing can also traverse all sorts of rugged, crazy terrain, and it drives better because you don't have this crazy engine that you have to worry about the torque about. You are working with electric, so anytime you want any amount of power, it's right there.
Yeah. So check this out. Brock Archer is telling us how to safely take care of a roof fire if you have the Tesla solar roof.
What the heck is he doing? Wait, whoa. What?
Well, yeah.
I've barely seen any Tesla Solar roofs, and he's just ripping this thing to shreds.
But this is an important part of the process.
He's cutting it with a chainsaw.
That's how you get a roof to vent itself. You got to get on the roof, and you got to cut a hole in the roof.
Wow.
And you got to teach other firefighters how to do it. So he's showing you, first of all, very important to see how slippery this roof is. It's glass,
right?
So it's going to be slippery. You got to put a ladder up there. But he's showing you that basically you can cut through it, and it's not going to hurt you because it's low voltage.
Right. And it's DC, so you need to touch both sides. It's not AC. You know, if you were cutting through a wall, you'd have to make sure that the power was cut.
Right, because that's very dangerous.
Because the AC current doesn't care that you're only touching one terminal of it. It'll still zap you.
Right, and this is a very important point because a lot of firefighters need to know what you can and can't do on the roof.
Right.
And it is a really good important point that you had there, Jesse, which is that in all houses throughout the world, if you just cut through a wall and you hit an electric line, you could potentially kill yourself if you're a firefighter.
Right.
So it's really cool to see that on the roof of a Tesla roof, you're not going to have that problem.
Right. And you can also just schlumph off all the roof tiles.
Right.
And
I know it's not fun to see. I know.
Right.
It's not fun to see. But it's really cool that they're starting to train firefighters because this is a real thing.
Right. And if you know a firefighter, send them the link because they should know how to deal with it because it's coming.
Yeah. So, Jesse, remember we talked about HR 6274. This is the Electric Credit Access Ready at Sale bill that's going through Congress.
I'm sorry, the credit card access ready?
Oh, no, I see.
Bill?
You need an acronym.
Yeah.
Okay. The acronym is Electric Cars Act of 2018. This is the 10-year extension for the $7,500 federal tax credit, and it was sent to the Ways and Means Committee, which is the chief tax writing committee, on June 28th. Now, here's the thing. Your congressperson is on that committee, and there's a list here that you're seeing now of all the congresspeople. Then you have a lot more power because those congresspeople are pretty powerful. In fact, I found out that congresspeople who have been on this committee before, 8 presidents, 8 vice presidents, 21 speakers of the House, and 4 justices of the Supreme Court have served on this committee. This is a powerful committee.
Okay.
So anyway, if your representative is on that committee, all the better. But even if they're not on that committee, call up your congressperson, like I did. I called Congresswoman Nikki Tsongas last week. Took me 80 seconds.
Okay, 80 seconds? That's it?
Yeah, it took me 80 seconds to call them and say that I was in support of this bill. In fact, here's what I said, okay? So you can just repeat along with me. You don't have to even think about it. I support HR 6274, the federal tax credit extension for electric vehicles. It's very important to me that you support it. This extension will not only help reduce CO2 and reduce air pollution, but it will help keep the U.S. competitive.
Okay. Yeah,
and then
I can do that.
Yeah, you just call your representative. In fact, we've got a link down below that shows all of the representatives. You just type in your zip code. It'll tell you who they are and what their phone number is.
Right.
Call them up because here's the thing, Jesse. If everyone watching this show right now who lives in the U.S. just called the representative, took 80 seconds to do it, I think this bill would pass.
It could pass. And let's just talk about what would happen if this bill were to pass.
Exactly.
10-year extension for the $7,500 tax credit. 10 years is crazy long time. And what that means is it would absolutely 100% guarantee that EVs would stomp out internal combustion engine cars completely.
Right.
There would be no contest. There would be no, I mean, for 10 years, for the Model Y, for the pickup truck, and for all the other car startups that are going to be crawling out of the woodwork to get their hands on this $7,500 tax credit. I mean, you could design a car that could almost hinge on this $7,500 tax credit.
Kind of like the Model 3?
Well, kind of, but the Model 3 could stand on its own at $35,000.
Yes, right. So you're saying like a $25,000 car where with the credit, it would be down so cheap that anyone could afford one.
Right.
Yeah, and here's the other thing. I mean, Tesla is going to be the car company because, as we've been talking about, many of these other car companies are going to go out of business. So you would be supporting an American car company with American workers.
Right. There's no competition. So, I don't know. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. All right, it's time for the lightning round.
Here we go.
So the Hyperloop competition results are in. Remember, Jesse, this is the 3rd annual SpaceX Hyperloop competition. This is a 1.2 kilometer tube that SpaceX built to test the Hyperloop. They make no money off of this. They just run this competition every year, and colleges from all around the world come and test their pods in the tube. Guess what happened this year? Check this out. This is the Scientific Working Group for Rocket Technology and Space Travel. Their acronym is WAR. And they won this year with the fastest capsule. Last year, they achieved speeds of 324 kilometers per hour, which is 201 miles per hour.
Wow.
This year, they went 467 kilometers per hour. That's 290 miles an hour.
Wow, that is so fast.
The pod is less than 2 meters long. It's outputted 240 kilowatts of power. The team said that with a longer track, it could have reached speeds of 600 kilometers an hour. That's 372 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. They're really
That's
rocking.
what an improvement in a year.
Yeah. How exciting. And, Jesse and I found out the night before that we were on the media list for
Right.
this. And so we found out like 8 hours before it started, and we're on the other coast of the United States.
Right.
So,
So, I mean,
we were
it was-
bummed because we wanted to go there and cover it, but we didn't find out in time.
The good news is next year we'll probably be there.
Yeah.
And that'll be fun. So last year, 48% of the electricity in Samoa was generated from renewable energy and 52% from diesel.
Yeah.
It's gross. But they aim to be completely powered by renewable energy using a mix of hydro, solar, and wind by 2025. Tesla is going to be a big part of that solution because, the sun comes up every day and then it goes behind the earth and you don't get the sun.
What do you
all
do?
day. You don't.
What do you do when it goes
sun went
behind-
down? You can't have solar with no sun. You can't do it. I don't know.
Is that how they talk in Samoa?
They don't talk like that in Samoa, I promise you. So Tesla has installed a large battery system to make Samoa its own grid that does not rely on diesel energy.
Check this out. There's a quote from the Prime Minister. He says, since the batteries have been running on trial tests, the quality, voltage, and frequency of the electricity supply has been very steady and not fluctuating as before. On least cost operation, EPC is now able to reduce the use of diesel generators from 4 to 2 and sometimes limited to 1 generator during off-peak times. EPC is now working collaboratively with Tesla and taking one step further to totally operate the system without a diesel generator.
This is awesome. With a little bit more renewable energy, they can go fully solar, which totally makes sense for an island. I mean, diesel doesn't grow on trees on islands.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, it doesn't grow on trees anywhere, but it's even worse on an island because you need to buy all that diesel fuel when you're just a bathed in sun island,
Yep.
So the ENV200, which is Nissan's electric van, just got an upgrade with a new 40 kilowatt hour battery pack for more range. So we're
Nice.
talking around 120 miles, 200 kilometers.
But what's so exciting about... Oh, wait, this doesn't look like a van, though.
They're also considering making a camper van version of it.
Interesting.
Now, I think that there's a couple advantages. One is that it won't break down. So, if your house is your vehicle, you don't want to have to take your whole house to the shop if it breaks down. That's kind of crappy. Also, it'll be way cheaper to run.
Yeah, it's true.
One of the biggest things that, one of the reasons that people aren't just driving RVs all the time is because, you get like 3 miles per gallon and it's super expensive to run and maintain and everything like that. Once it's electric, you are good to go.
And at the campsite, it's silent.
Yeah. Okay, so last week, SpaceX launched 10 Iridium Next satellites into orbit, adding to the 55 that were already up there as part of what will be a 75 satellite array.
Yeah, that'll cover the entire Earth.
And what is Iridium?
It's a satellite company, and with this company, they are able to cover the Earth in a satellite network, an internet network, and they work with all kinds of cool companies. So they're able to do, allow ships at sea to have internet, to allow farmers to be able to see their crops from space,
Right.
To allow small pilots to be able to be found if their plane gets lost. I mean, like all sorts of cool uses that were never available before because those are places that aren't covered by the regular internet.
Right. Also, I'm reading here that the Falcon 9, the first stage, landed successfully on a remote drone ship.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at this. I mean, that's insane.
Oh, especially on choppy seas.
Right.
And this was the Block 5 of the Falcon 9, which
Right.
means it's the latest iteration. This is the one that they're hoping will get NASA's seal of approval for human flight to the space station.
Yep.
All right, so you've been hearing, Jesse, about all these European wildfires. They're just having a super
Crazy.
hot summer,
Yeah.
and it's just drying out their forests. And here's a tweet showing 44 fire trucks and 139 firefighters from Poland rushing to help Sweden put out their forest fires. And if
Right.
there's any good news in this at all, I just think that it's showing that there's, humankind working together to help when there's a problem.
Right.
I think that's really nice to see.
Yeah.
So, Jesse, you remember Bria Loveday. She was the fifth grader who tweeted to Elon that she wanted Tesla to have a commercial for the Teslas because they're so amazing. And she isn't that happy, I guess, with the way it turned out.
So Marquise Brownlee made one where, he zooms home from the grocery store and minutes later a Corvette or Lamborghini or something zooms by because it couldn't keep up with it.
Right. I mean, that was the winning one, and it showed off the cargo space and the speed of the Tesla Model S. But she was driving more at the fact that there's an environmental impact to Teslas, and that we should be showing that off. Well, so she's developed her own commercial storyboard, and it's about the zombie apocalypse and how owning a Tesla and Powerwalls and solar will enable you to survive the zombie apocalypse. You can support her vision if you'd like on this Indiegogo. She's actually recruited director Bastian Koch, who did the visual effects for like Pacific Rim, Ready Player One, The Avengers, so like big Hollywood director. And if she can raise the money, they're going to put out what looks like it could be a fantastic commercial.
Cool. Go check it out.
Hey, Jesse.
Oh, yeah?
Tesla just made a new product.
All right. What is it?
The Tesla Surfboard.
Okay, so they put some batteries in a surfboard?
No, just a regular surfboard, but what's cool is it can fit in all three cars. It can fit in the Model S, the X, and the 3.
Right, but like a standard size surfboard would fit in the Model S, Model X, Model
Yeah,
Y.
but this is a Tesla surfboard, a limited edition, only 200 of them made. It's $1,500.
All right, well, let's get one. I want one. I don't even surf, and I want one. I'm going to put it on my wall. I'm going to put it in my Tesla.
It's sold out.
Oh.
In fact, it's sold out within the first day. Sorry. The good news is you don't surf anyway. So
That's true.
All right, it's time for our video contributor story. And I just want to do a little plug here for video contributors. If you have a story that you're interested in, let us know, and we'd love to have you on the show.
Yep.
This week, we've got our friend Scott in the Galapagos. Take it away.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. We're in Ecuador touring the Galapagos Islands aboard the National Geographic Endeavour 2. And we're currently anchored in the caldera of a volcano. While we were here, we toured the largest city in the islands called Santa Cruz, and we learned something interesting. They have legislated that all new cars will be electric vehicles, so no new car or truck will be able to be brought onto the islands unless it's fully electric. They also have generated most of their power from a diesel generator, and they're currently converting that to use renewable energy. On the trip from island to island, we saw several massive wind turbines, so they're definitely making a difference. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Really cool. I mean, he was in the I forget what that's called when you're in a crater of a volcano and it's filled with water. You're in a caldera of a volcano and you're reporting to us. Like,
that's cool. That's probably the first time anyone's reported to us from a caldera of a volcano.
in the Galapagos.
Well, just in general.
I know,
In general calderas.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories. Do you know what these are, Jesse?
So every week we do a Patreon bonus stories segment. Basically, we have so many stories that if we were to put them all on the news, it would be like, okay, we get it. Electric cars are cool. Thanks, guys. And what we do is we take all these extra stories that we just couldn't fit into the news because it's already like an hour long. I don't even know how you guys are still here. And we give them to our Patreons because they help support us. They help make this news possible, and they really deserve it. And if you want to see these Patreon bonus stories, you can head over to patreon.com and support us for as little as $1 a month. And it's like a quarter of Patreon bonus stories, and there's multiple stories. So it's like you're paying us like pennies for these bonus stories. It's great. It's what helps support our channel.
Let's get over there. Come on.
Let's go. We got to do it.
It's a Patreon bonus story.
We're back from our Patreon bonus stories, and we want to do shout outs to our amazing Patreons.
Yep.
What
All
do we
right.
got this week, Jess?
We got Richard Carter,
Zach Fitro,
Steve Radspinner,
Richard Harrison.
Scott Manley. Is this the YouTuber, Scott Manley?
I don't know.
That guy is awesome.
Oh, and I'm sure if it isn't him, it's still an awesome guy.
Well, it's still, yeah, but like, wow.
Jeff Roberts
Keith Smalley,
and Susan Geis.
thank you so much for being our Patreon supporters. We couldn't do this show without you.
You rock. All right, it's time, Jesse, for Elon's tweet of the week, and I think we got two here.
Yes, okay.
I love this one. This is Heart, Rocket, Star. Those are the emojis he tweeted out along with this awesome video about Gwynne Shotwell. Gwynne Shotwell is the COO and president of SpaceX. Musk hired her in 2002.
And she made basically all of the crazy things that SpaceX has done possible.
Right.
Because she's taken Elon Musk's vision. Elon's like, I want to make a rocket that lands. And she had to be like, okay, we'll figure that out, I guess.
Right. She's an amazing individual. She's on Forbes' top 100 most powerful women in the world list.
Right.
And
It's clear to see why.
she fits Elon perfectly. Like, she is super smart and a go-getter and like everything. Elon's next tweet is a response to Jay Pace. And Jay Pace said, will we get Kit-like AI in Tesla cars anytime soon? I'd love a little computer dude I could talk to in my performance Model 3. Elon said,
Yes. Okay, so we're gonna have a Tesla Semi. Does that mean that we get to have a car that can just drive up into the Semi?
ooh, maybe we should start tweeting Elon.
That would be pretty cool. Just saying.
All right, it's time for community mail time.
Here we go.
Community mail time.
So Megan is an engineering student in the UK, and she has been hard at work figuring out what Elon intends for the SpaceX Roadster package. She made a science-packed video on the Tesla Roadster 2020 aerodynamic model and predictions.
All right.
So we don't have time to show you this whole thing, but the link is down below.
Right.
It's pretty amazing science that she puts in here.
When I first heard of this idea, I was like, I don't know. Like, this seems a little.
I
After
think-
the video, I'm
sold.
I'm not 100% sold. But
I'm pretty sold. I think she's
sold.
figured out. She's read his tweets and
Yeah.
read between the lines and then applied science to it. Go check it out because it really explains, I think, how the Tesla Roadster with the SpaceX package is going to work.
Yeah.
All right, this is kind of an inspiring story. This is from our friend Howard in Manchester, UK, and he reminded me this week that you have much more say than you might think. So when Howard saw this is a Hyatt resort in Da Nang, Vietnam. He saw that it didn't have solar on its roof, and he was just like, "Argh!" And instead of going home and grumbling about it, he tweeted to Hyatt's Twitter account. Super smart. And I thought, we can all do that.
Right.
When we get frustrated about something that we see during the week, like, oh, I wish that had solar on its roof, we can tweet to them.
Right.
That's really powerful. Every company now has a Twitter account,
Right.
and it takes 2 seconds. So pick something every day that you're upset about, research who you can contact about it, and then send them a message. Right. And better yet, share that message on your Facebook or Twitter so that you can inspire others to do the same.
Yep. So our friend Bo that we visited in Sweden this spring has just updated his fabulous EV route planner software, aboutoroutePlanner.com, which now adds Chevy Bolt and Ampera Ease to the list of cars supported. So over 1.6 million routes have been planned using this software. Make sure to support him. We interviewed him when we were in Sweden this spring. You can see the link somewhere up here.
Yeah, and just check out his software. I mean, it's
Right.
free to use, and it's really cool. It works really well.
Really powerful stuff.
You can even run it in your Tesla. So our friend Steve reminds us that this is why we need to get rid of ICE semi-trucks. I know. It just makes you want to gag. Right.
That's gross.
Yeah, that's why we're getting the Tesla semi-truck.
Right. First of all, the Tesla semi-truck could beat those trucks
Yep.
going, "Whoa!" Are you kidding me?
Why are they doing? Is that the torque of the engine?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Basically-
it just pulls a wheel off the ground.
It's like twisting itself apart. The Tesla semi-truck, we've seen it accelerate way faster than this. And it doesn't do any stupid things.
And it doesn't pour pollution into the air.
It's silent. You don't smell it. You don't hear it.
Here's the saddest part. There's little kids with clouds of smoke
Right.
rushing into their face,
Into
going,
their lungs.
Yay!
Right.
And it's like, no, that's yay.
to run away. Get better parents. Make better life choices.
It's time for our Patreon viewer comments, and we asked, what do you think is the best way to get someone to consider an EV for their next auto purchase? And I thought we got a really good response here from Eric A. He said, a test drive. Even my father-in-law is almost sold. That's a big achievement. Yes, you get someone in the car,
Right. Even father-in-laws,
which are the hardest.
they're the worst, can be pretty much convinced.
Yes. And then we asked, have you been to an EV event?
Right.
And Jesse was kind of shocked. I was not. So
I was thinking that most of our Patreons have been to an EV event of some kind. Turns out that the vast majority have not. So 153 have not been to an event, and just 64 have been.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's time for our Supercharger reviews, and you know that you can help us out, right? You
Right.
go to our website after you've...
nowyouknowchannel.com.
Right. After you've gone to a destination charger or a supercharger, shot it on your phone, tell us what's there, and then just upload it, and it's there for everyone to enjoy. So here they are this week.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. It's Jan from Belgium. We are here at Lohne, the supercharger in Germany, which is actually pretty nice. It's an 8-stall, and there's a lot of amenities. First you have a nice shop at the petrol shop, but also there's a very good Asian buffet restaurant. Then there's a Burger King. A little bit further there's even a game land. And right here at the end of the parking there's an outdoor fitness center. So it's really nice. It's a really nice supercharger. So thanks guys, keep up the good work.
Hey Zach and Jesse, this is the Berghoff supercharger in Norway, directly at the E6 towards Trondheim. And as you can see, we have 16 stalls and there's soon to be 20. So in the boxes right here, there is something hidden. So there is an expansion on its way, it's quite good. We have a gas station, we have a hotel, and there's a place to eat, there's a place to shop. What else have we got? Oh yeah, there are some pigs and horses. Well, never figured that. We rate it at a solid 8 out of 10 stars. See you next time.
Hey Zach and Jesse, this is Leon. I'm here at the 8-stall supercharger in Wilsdorf next to Siegen at the Autobahn 45 between Frankfurt and Dortmund. And yeah, you got a Burger King over here, it's behind me, it's that one. And then you got a restaurant over here where you can get some coffee or something like that. And it's a pretty nice place here, I think. Here's a hotel. Yeah, and that's it. So I'm not a Tesla owner yet, but I hope to see this supercharger filled up with Model 3s very soon, I hope. Keep up your great work. I love you guys. Bye.
This is Boris reporting from Satteldorf, Kreilsheim, Tesla Supercharger in Germany. This is a supercharger just off the A6 Autobahn between Nuremberg and Heilbronn, and it's conveniently located just off the motorway. It's located at the normal gas station, and there is plenty of places to eat, including McDonald's and some other stuff. It has normal amenities and food stall. Looks pretty nice. I don't know how old it is, but I can recommend it as a nice stopover. So thank you guys for your show and keep up with the good work. Bye bye.
I'm just so happy. This is like my favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
I love watching this. But you
We
know why?
had this
First of all, because
idea-
we're not talking.
Right.
But also because you guys are giving us all this cool information.
Right. All right. There's new superchargers, which is great because there's more superchargers for people to review.
All right. What do we got?
We have number 53 in Canada, the 8-stall urban supercharger in Vancouver, Burrand Street, British Columbia, Canada.
Number 21 in Australia is the 4-stall in Narooma, New South Wales, Australia.
The 4-stall urban supercharger at 59 Allen Street, New York City, New York.
And lastly, number 553 in the USA, number 1331 in the world is the 16-stall in Leavenworth, Washington.
Wow. Every week, there's a new supercharger.
You know what else there is every week that's new?
Be Free.
A new Be Free
There's
company.
a new Be Free company. So
Yep.
this one, so let's just talk about this. Businesses for rewarding Elon employees. If there's an employee that works for Elon, these businesses want to help support the cause. The whatever it is, whether it's the Boring Company, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink,
OpenAI. You're
all of this stuff.
Awesome people.
And what we've put together is a group of companies that are willing to offer huge discounts for Tesla employees.
Yeah,
and,
check
and
this one out.
Elon employees.
This one's the Epping Engraving Center. 50% off any engraving you bring in the store. Free engraving of any kind that you buy in the store. 10% discount on key cutting. 10% on shoe repairs. 10% on watch batteries and straps. If you're visiting England, maybe I don't know how many Elon employees work in England, but
I think there's some online stuff you can do. So head over to Epping Engraving Center and check it out.
And, we've made a lot of videos on this channel, Jesse, like over 500. And a lot of them get lost because they're way deep down.
Right.
Here's an oldie but goodie. This is how you can save $170,000.
Right. This one's an old one. Go check it out.
And it's time, Jesse, for the Patreon giveaway.
It's the Patreon giveaway.
You know that you can get your name in here. It's not even doing anything.
Okay, wait.
You can get your name in here by just being a Patreon.
Yes, okay.
And for every $1 you give us a month, you get an extra card that goes in there, so you increase your chances. All right, who do we got, Jesse? Reach in there and pull out a name.
Okay.
Oh, and this week they'll be getting an SFSF T-shirt. We're showing the company right here. So let's see what we got.
Okay. We have got. This is a sticky note.
Gotta pull it apart.
Gotta pull this one apart. We have Zachary Henderson.
Nice. So Zachary Henderson, you are our Patreon that won this week, and we'll be sending you a link to a free T-shirt from SFSF.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so what's this Wonder Capital stuff all about?
Yeah, so Wonder Capital is a great way to invest in solar energy. Like, okay, I like to invest my money and I like to make money, right? But I don't want to just invest it in things that are bad for the world.
Right.
So I found out about this Wonder Capital and I was like, are these guys legit? So I thought, I'll go interview their CEO.
Right, which we can do because we have clout.
Right.
We have what we call clout because thank you everyone who subscribed to this channel. We're able to interview the CEO of the company.
And I was like, I'm not just going to interview him for myself. Made a video, so you can go check that out. So anyway, Brian Bursick, really smart guy, and he started this company because he saw that there was an opportunity. He saw that there's companies out there that need money to put solar on the roof, but they don't need millions of dollars. So banks generally don't want to get involved. They're like, oh, you only need $150,000? We don't want to do it. So he bundles together companies, and basically we, people like you and I, invest, and we get a huge return. We're talking 6%, 7%, 7.5%, and our money's going to put solar on roofs.
Okay, but the real question that I have for you is, what is the return that you've been seeing?
I've been getting 7.5%.
Really?
Yeah. And I've been doing this for months, so I'm not. We didn't have Wonder Capital sponsor us till we checked them out, vetted them, and then tested them, and it's legit. It's real.
Okay. So I mean, they are helping to support the show, which is amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Wonder Capital. If you guys want to start earning, money by investing in solar, you can go check them out.
Yeah. Go to our link below.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Tesla Time News. We're very excited to have our 100th episode next week.
Oh my gosh.
So be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done that. But it's been 99 episodes. I think you should probably have done that by now. I'm just saying. Also, you can help support our show.
Yes. Our friend Jared had this great idea, Jesse. You know about our Amazon affiliate link that we ever have right here?
Yeah.
You click on that link, you go to Amazon, you buy stuff like you normally would. We get a huge percentage from them, and it didn't cost you anything. Well, he said, bookmark our link. That way, whenever you want to go to Amazon, you just click on the bookmark.
Right.
And you're helping us.
Thanks, Jared. That's a great idea.
Really good idea.
And yeah, that is just, it's a huge way to help support the show.
Yeah.
And we're going to be able to do such amazing things.
Like, I mean, for instance, we want to be able to cover like the Hyperloop events.
Right.
That costs money.
Right. They don't fly us out for free, and they don't have a Hyperloop set up to take us there.
Yet.
Unfortunately, yet. Someday. In order to cover that would be thousands and thousands of dollars in travel fees and hotels and transportation. So it's huge. That's huge support for us. Just buying the things that you were going to buy anyway on Amazon. Also, if you want a ride in the next generation Roadster and you also want free supercharging for the life of your vehicle, you can use Zach's referral code.
Yeah, we come pick you up in a Roadster.
Right. Also, if you're like, man, you guys spend way, like this episode, look at how long this episode is. I can't watch you guys this long. We have this as a podcast on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and TuneIn.
Yeah.
TuneIn, if you might know, is
It's in your
on
car.
your Tesla.
That's right.
So if you have a Tesla, you can listen to us on your Tesla. Pretty cool.
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We're going to see you next week with our 100th episode.
Now you know.